Hi. So I don't mean to get all philosophical, but I'm pretty sure the details of your life and the details of my life aren't exactly the same. But we are the same in that we're both just human beings trying to get through this human experience. And I wrote a story that I think is pretty cool. So if you like it, please keep listening, because there's a lot more. The next morning in Mosquitoburg, Merle woke up and arrived at the short stack early. Merle and Milo were soon sipping from tiny cups of coffee filled with that genuine mud from Colombia. Merle tried easing into the tangle web of this conversation, knowing Milo had a tendency to walk words in his own direction. Their plates of food were served, and Milo was still rattling on about his neighbor's begonias. Merle waited for Milo to take a bite of his pancakes, and then he quickly interjected, "Milo, what do you know about town history?" Milo carefully finished chewing, took another sip of good coffee, and slowly replied, "Which part?" Merle felt like he had just made a mistake. Serious and deliberate, Milo felt very foreign. Seeing as it was sink or swim time, Merle stated, 300 years back, the great supposition." All noise inside the short sack stopped, and one mosquito server even dropped an empty plate that shattered on the floor. Milo paid for both of them, motioned to Merle, and they both flew out of the short stack. Milo flew on, and Merle followed dutifully, afraid at this point to ask more questions. Merle soon recognized the direction Milo was flying, toward Old Man Maccabee's land. The sudden trip out here was causing Merle to reevaluate his recent life choices. Was he about to be fed to the crocodiles, gotten rid of across countless miles of swamp backcountry? Would he soon get his answer? For when they reached the property, Milo flew straight over to Baptiste and Benoit. This is it, thought Merle. Crocodile snacks. Milo flew down with great care, tickled each giant reptile behind the ears, causing their bellows to be heard for 2 square miles. Milo was laughing now and said, "That is so much fun. Do you want to turn?" Merle thought he was losing his mind, but he said, "No, thank you." "Suit yourself," said Milo, then motioned to Merle to follow, and they flew into Old Man Maccabee's house. Inside, Merle noticed a few odd things. On the table was a leather drawstring pouch full of fragrantly foul herbs, as well as tin cups, full, half full, or full of vapor, of Maccabee's 190 proof corn liquor. Milo spoke loud enough to wake the dead. "Maccabee!" Flying into the next room, they found the old man asleep in a chair, and Milo tried again just as loud. "Maccabee!" The old man gasped, flew into the air, and hollered, "I'm dead!" Milo did not react, but Merle's eyelid was twitching violently. "Be right back," said Milo. Merle started gesturing wildly from confusion. "Just talk to him," said Milo. The old man looked at Merle and asked, "Boy, are you a marionette puppet? Sit on down." Merle stopped hovering and took a load off in one of Maccabee's very tiny mosquito-sized chairs. Milo flew back in with a tiny cup full of moonshine and horrid-smelling herbs and handed it to Maccabee. The old man took it and asked Milo, "The hell's this?" With full composure, Milo replied, "It's your medicine for the shakes." Merle had no idea that any mosquito's eyes could get as big as the old man's got in that moment. Still looking at Milo, Maccabee said in a very scratchy and timid and loud voice, "Shakes? I hate them shakes." The old man drained the medicine from the tin cup, and his face spasmed a little bit, as it appears as if the lights had come on upstairs, and he looked around the room and he declared, "Milo, Merle, when did you two get here? Did you boys need something?" Milo was trying to usher Merle to ask more about the great supposition, but Merle was far too unnerved to speak. Milo took over and stated, "Maccabee, we need your telling on the story of the fancy how-to-do." Maccabee looked at the ceiling, turned, looked behind him in both corners of the room, looked down under his chair, sat up straight, and asked, "You do, huh?" Milo simply nodded. Maccabee held out his empty tin cup to Milo, who said, "Unleaded this time, and get you boys a belt too, so we's on the same page, all of us." Maccabee gave Merle the evil eye as Milo got 3 drinks. Milo passed the old man his tin cup first, then Merle. Merle also had a tin cup, but was 1/4 full. Merle was nervous. He had never actually drank Maccabee's 190 proof corn liquor before, and the evil vapors rising from the tin cup were strong enough to rouse a healthy person from sleep. From across the room, old man Maccabee was monitoring him, and he hollered at Merle, "Don't stare at it, belt that baby back," giving a motion of drinking out of a cup. Merle looked at Milo, who turned his tin cup over empty. Merle shot the burning wet liquid and immediately went hoarse, and all the air in his little lungs evacuated themselves as Merle coughed and spluttered, dropping the tin cup to the floor. Old man Maccabee was in an unnatural position in his chair, laughing. "You, look at your face." His speech was incoherent. Merle felt bad. Then after a few moments, Maccabee regained his composure and made up for the practical joke with a tale from over 300 years ago. This is the story called The Fancy How-to-Do. So many generations after ain't a feller or filly alive that can counteract what I'm telling you, lives the tragic story of 2 star-crossed youngins and their friend. The youngin's friend, a delivery mosquito that goes by M.B., was always top dog in everything he does. M.B.'s friends were in love, and that was only the half of it. These 2 fools were so head over heels for each other that they couldn't stand to be apart. She was Esme, who worked at the apothecary, and he was Jasper, who was a farmhand. We was all friendly, helping each other and doing what friends do. When I reckon the day things went wrong was the night Esme and Jasper made that damn fool decision to go for a midnight skinny dip together in the mud-slick fields on the outskirts of town. Now things were going just fancy for them. They done all lost all their clothes, and they's acting like fools out in that slick mud. Just about that time, who comes a-snorting and a-snuffing the mud-slick fields but that evil feline himself, the Wampus Cat. Now the Devil Cat loves to sneak up on and play with his food before his supper. So that Wampus Cat smells Esme and Jasper through the mud and catches Jasper off guard with one of them devil riddles, and the boy just can't answer it. Just as the cat opened his huge maw, M.B. flew up to bite him first. Well, Esme made a move, and I bit Esme, and everyone got slipped up by the mud, and a grand fight happened. When it was over, Esme was standing in the moonlight, covered in mud, holding one of the Wampus's legs. I told Esme, Esme told me to run, and I was fixing to until I seen the Wampus Cat glow green, and like green lightning. Jasper was hit, and he ran screaming into the swamp. Esme's cat leg was glowing, and she managed to hit that cat with its own medicine. Esme said, "Go." And I don't know why, but I flew to the library to check the almanac if we could get a wish out of that cat, but ain't no cigar. When I got back, everyone was gone until I found him. Merle wasn't sure if the corn liquor had affected his brain or if he was slowly going crazy. Merle said, "Maccabee, you didn't finish your story." Old man Maccabee shot the remaining liquor from his cup, flew up, and hollered, "Are you calling me a liar?" Milo re-entered the room with 3 full tin cups and said, Now, he didn't mean it. Maccabee, maybe it's time you introduce Merle to him." Maccabee gave Merle the evil eye as he reclaimed his tiny chair and then said, Hey, old friend. The house suddenly filled with the most noxious smell Merle had ever smelled. A shadow moved across all the windows, and as Merle moved to the window, he saw a 6-foot man-like creature covered in long hair, mud, moss, and God knows what else. Merle downed the contents of the tin cup in one go. Merle heard, "Now you got it there, boy." Everyone once again sitting comfortably with full tin cups, Merle began the interrogation portion of the day, grilling the old man and Maccabee always responding, "Yep." Merle learned that the skunk ape was indeed Jasper, the swamp witch was indeed Esme, and Maccabee was indeed MB. And he did have zombism since 300 years ago. And yes, Esme taught him that moonshine and her herbs would stave off the zombism and prolong his life, and that Maccabee called zombism the shakes, and that Maccabee was recently granted a wish by the Wampus Cat, and on the last new moon with moonshine. Merle stared incredulously at Maccabee before asking, "Well?" Old man Maccabee sipped his tin cup before replying, "That's for drawing up water. What are you getting at?" Merle hollered, probably due to the moonshine. "Your wish!" Maccabee hollered back. "Sure, yeah." Merle could no longer feel his mouth. How was old man Maccabee keeping this pace? Slowly and deliberately, Merle asked, "What did you wish for, you old goat?" Maccabee became very solemn and replied, "To break the curse from my friends." New scene. Inside the Frank Lloyd Wright house, sitting in a recliner, Lucas stopped and asked, "Jane?" Jane was sitting upright, normally on the sofa, feet on the floor with her elbows being supported by her knees and her hands covering her face. Lucas knew better by now than to dare make sudden movements around her, so he tried again. "Jane?" She looked up at Lucas with artificial tears in her eyes and wailed, "I can feel it. Esme and Jasper are doomed. I can feel it." Lucas went over and sat on the sofa next to Jane and began consoling her. Somewhere, light years from anywhere, the Mason and Doug were still playing that same game of hyperplane chess, and the cooking pot was happily bubbling away. The Mason knew he only had one chance to pull off this stunt, since Doug was more than highly observant. The Mason purposefully made a bad chess move, which caused Doug to close his eyes, tip his head back, and roar with laughter. The Mason, in this short time, produced from his pocket a small, tacky, gummy slap hand with a 4-inch handle, and into the cooking pot it went with all 6 androids. Milo, Merle, and Maccabee were sitting, staring at each other until Merle broke the silence. "So how exactly do you break the curse?" Maccabee spoke up. "'Twere no use. You need the Wampus Cat's own pelt. That devil feline is magic and immortal. None here is strong enough to kill it, even Jasper." The gears in Merle's mind were spinning fast from the fresh greasing. With new courage, Merle gave orders. "Old man, go get the witch. Milo, go visit your sister. We only have one shot at this. I have an idea."